I am Maureen Langan. Thank you for hanging with Langan again. I'm going to bring in my guest in just a moment. But you guys, tomorrow I will be launching my official Hangin' with Langan store. I have a store now. I'm a shopkeeper. And it's going to be a whole line of Don't Make Me Hate You products. Onesies for babies, we have it all. It's hysterical. But anyway, that's MaureenLangan.com. And you know you can get the t-shirts Don't Make Me Hate You at my website, MaureenLangan.com. All right, I've been so excited to have this gal. I've known her for 20 years, probably over 20 years when we began and stand up together. She is my buddy, my friend, a talented force of nature, Miss Marion Grodin, everybody. Marion Grodin.
I'm excited hearing my intro.
Well, come on, you know I mean it.
But since quarantine, nobody announces anybody. So it's nice to just be announced.
Yes, to be seen.
You know what I'm saying? I don't go into the kitchen and you know, nobody says like, she's coming to the kitchen and she's a force of nature. No one says anything.
Nobody says that.
No.
I'm gonna tell people, please share this. We're gonna have a great chat with Marion here. This technology is now coming together. I'm sharing it to my group, Hangin' with Langan. So I want you people to share with your friends, start a watch party. What we're gonna do is we're gonna chat, and then we do this after show. It's called the Backstage VIP Pass. That's not open yet. We're putting that in place. And during that time, that's when Marion's gonna tell you about sex during quarantine. So that's the extra perks you get when you're hanging with Langan. And we'll take your questions, your comments right here on the .com, as my Irish mother would say. Marion, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very well rested.
Are you hunkered down in New Jersey?
I'm hunkered down and I'm sleeping on average 12 to 13 hours a night because it just means less expectation during the day because there's not that much of the day left.
You know, you're so funny. It's so bizarre. I'm the opposite. I've never worked harder because there's so many different layers to learn to do something that I've been doing my whole life, which is hosting a talk show. It's enough work as it is, but to learn the different platforms and the social media and the Zoom to the Facebook Live. Did you tweet? Did you Instagram?
I'm learning nothing. I haven't. Some people are learning another language. I have learned how to make a cheeseburger that transcends all other cheeseburgers.
Oh, what is your cheese of choice?
Found what?
What is your cheese of choice?
I do a 4 cheeseburger. 4 cheeses.
4 cheeses.
I do 4 cheeses. But mostly I spend my time watching shows about murder. And that is very soothing to me because I feel like whatever my challenges are, at least no one murdered me.
See, that's you. Glass half full. Glass overrunneth, Marion. That's you.
Try to be. But there are amazing numbers of people killing people. That's what's fascinating to me, that you have enough people killing people that there are so many shows. There's The Killer Beside Me, Betrayed, of course, On the Case with Paula Zahn and Marion Grodin. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I asked somebody, I said, please tell me what I can watch, because I don't usually sit still and watch a lot of television. But what are we, at night, what are we going to do here? We're not out of clubs.
The Killer Beside Me. The Killer Beside Me. That's what you want to watch.
They said Outlander, so I'm in the 3rd season. They're like, Maureen, it's not that violent. My line in the stand of violence is like when Bugs Bunny gets hit over her head with a mallet. Like,
yeah, you and I we're not the same.
But I'm watching it and I'm like, this is the goriest stuff. I'm screaming, like, tell me when it's over.
No, you have to see the reenactments of the crime. Because what they do is they get the worst actors in the world to play the detectives and the sister and the cousin. And it's honestly hilarious.
All right, I'll check that out.
I'd already seen Tiger King. So what was I gonna, I needed something. Did you see Tiger King?
No, it just freaked me out just even looking at the commercials. I'm like, this looks freaky. Who are these people? What's happening?
It's fantastic.
Is it?
Fantastic. He has a mullet and he sings and he has 2 husbands, both of which say they're not homosexuals.
Oh, very good. Denial, a lot of denial going on.
A lot of denial. And not a lot of teeth.
Oh, really? But do they hurt animals? I can't like handle painful things.
Little bit. I don't like that either, a little bit. But I had to put aside my feeling about animals for my need for enjoyment in lockdown.
I did watch Lily Tomlin ad nauseum in Grace and Frankie and
Not,
Grace.
I can't. Does anyone kill anyone?
No,
No,
nobody's
I'm not
dead.
watching
Nobody's
it.
dead. No, you can't. That's it for you.
Is there any pushing or shoving? Anything?
Oh, a little bit of that. And it's not a great show other than watching the masterful Lily Tomlin. That's the
Right.
only reason I watched, because
Right.
they had this gay couple, Sam Waterston and Martin Sheen, the least
Right.
believable gay couple, almost disturbing, cringeworthy.
Right.
Not
Right.
almost,
Right.
was.
Much like the Tiger King relationship.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's what I want to do. Oh, I want to give a couple shout outs. You guys, thanks for being so supportive of the show. Big thank you to my friend Carol Schindler. You know, the show, I bring a show every day, Marion, Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock. Wonderful.
It's awesome.
Well, yeah. And
It's great you're doing it.
It is great because I get to see people like you. But people have been very supportive. And you guys, you know, to keep these shows coming, they are free. But if you want to support, paypal.me/Molangan, it's on the screen, or Venmo @Molangan. And you can buy my shirt on my website, Maureen Langan. Marion, this is the commercial break.
That's okay.
That's my bell commercial. Don't Make Me Hate You. It's on the .com, MaureenLangan.com, or don'tmakemehateyou.com, because I don't want to hate people. They make me hate them. I'm a victim. And tomorrow we're going to launch the store. I'm very excited. So Carol Schindler, thank you for your support. You made a nice donation yesterday to help support the show. And Gwen, you have just been magic. Thank you, thank you. And Jim Simonik, your t-shirts will be on the way soon, my darling. All right. We just lost a beloved man in this business, legend, Jerry Stiller.
I knew him.
Yeah. And
I actually knew him through my dad. So my dad was good friends with, my dad is Charles Grodin, and my dad was good friends with Ann Mira and Jerry Stiller. And he used to have the Charles Grodin show on MSNBC, and they would come on. And then I was doing something, and I interviewed them at length for something I was working on. And then I became friends with their daughter, Amy. So yeah, but he was 92. That's a good long life.
Well, you know, God love him. And, you know, I want to ask you, see, Amy, daughter of Jerry. Kelly Carlin is joining me next week. We have Kelly Carlin joining me. Daughter of George.
George Carlin's daughter.
Right. Marion Grodin, daughter of Charles. But it's so interesting because I've known you for 20-something years. Of course you're Charles Grodin's daughter, but I never see you. I see you, of course, as Marion, because I don't know that part of your world.
Right.
You know? So it's
also, you didn't meet me through that. You met me through me.
It's a whole, right. It's a whole different world. And, you know, I realize I probably never really spoken to you about growing up Grodin.
Right.
I don't really think we've ever talked about, a little bit, we've tidbits on it. I know you wrote a memoir, Standing Up, a memoir of a funny, not always stand-up, right? Life? Yeah. Standing
Life.
Up, a memoir, not always life. So talk to me, what would people, just what was life growing up with Charles Grodin as a dad?
Well, you know, my answer to that is always, I didn't have any other reference. So for me, that was normal. And like anybody, their highs, their lows. My parents were divorced when I was 5. That was very hard for me. I missed him terribly. He was often, you know, on a movie set in California, and my mom and I lived on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. So it was a lot of things, you know. Some of it was unbelievably exciting to be on movie sets as a little kid and to be around famous people like Warren Beatty and Steve Martin and Marty Short and Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges. You know, that was amazing. And I was aware that it was very special and unusual. And then, you know, there were parts that were hard where I just missed my dad because he didn't live with us. So, and I think I know it was difficult trying to sort of integrate my life with my mom, which was very different than my life with my dad, and go back and forth. I think that was challenging for me. But I mean, what I want to say about him is the older I get, the more I just dig him and get who he is and who he was and how much he loves me and loved me, and you know, just was an incredibly loving father.
So was he out in LA mostly, or was he in New York?
Well, he had an apartment on the Upper West Side on 92nd and West End, which was the Windermere Chateau, which is hilarious because it wasn't a ski lodge. It was an old Jewish residential hotel, and he had an apartment there. So he was here sometimes, and there a lot of the time. You know, he was in the 70s and 80s. He was very busy making movies. So he was on the West Coast. And then I would fly out there and be in these amazing houses with pools and, you know, pretty overstimulating, but great. You know, I got a lot of time alone with my dad and going to, you know, these restaurants on the ocean and get whatever you want, he would say. Whereas my mother's line was always, I can make that.
Wow.
Yes, very bipolar.
Wow, that's very different lifestyles, isn't it? Marion Grodin.
Medication, that's it.
Well, you know what, too? I mean, who did you love meeting? Like, who, when you were a child, who do you
I thought you were going to say, who did you love more? And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no, no. Because that's a whole, right? And, well, maybe you want to answer that, but, you know.
No, I
I'll
love
leave that
them
for your
both.
Of course.
No.
That's not what I was going to ask. Well, Jesus. What I was going to ask you, though, is you're a kid. People are bigger, larger than life. We're all, no matter whether it's your next door.
No doubt, yeah.
So when you were a child, do you recall like a celebrity that you were like frightened of? Like you just felt like their energy just overpowered and frightened you?
Well, when my dad was making the movie King Kong with Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges, I was about 13 and I fell madly in love with Jeff Bridges. Madly in love. And I told my father that I was in love with Jeff Bridges. And my father said, he's married. I was 13, as if I was going to run away with Jeff Bridges at 13. I mean, we're not from Oklahoma.
And he's not Woody Allen, right?
No, exactly. And so my father said, I think you're hungry. I said, what? I'm in love with Jeff Bridges. And he said, what have you eaten today? And I said, I'm not doing this with you. I'm telling you, I am in love. I'm in love for the first time in my life. Just tell me what you ate. I said, no. So about 2 hours later, we went to have lunch. And after lunch, he said, how do you feel? And I said, I think I was hungry.
That's hysterical.
So I was in love with Jeff Bridges, but I also needed to eat.
But it passed. In time, it passed. I just got to give
it. But Jessica Lange actually like helped me because she was the lead in the movie, and she was just, you know, staggeringly beautiful. And she listened to me and like dignified my feelings. I'll never forget that. We went for a long walk one day. And I was really in pain about my love for Jeff Bridges. And, you know, she said she was very understanding.
Sure.
But she said he's married. I love that nobody said you're 13. They just said he's taken.
Yeah, and you're hungry. So this is an emotional love.
And I'm an eater, so I was pretty much always hungry.
Well, you were hungry for love, Marion. Couldn't they see that?
No, I actually needed, I was hungry for a cheeseburger, Maureen, to be
sustenance.
honest.
You needed sustenance.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you, my friend Jen Peterman, she is a real broad, and she said you were so nice to her when she was doing comedy early on. Anyways, you would love her. She's just a total broad. Thank you, Linda Marcus Smith, for supporting the show. She made a nice donation. Love Marion. Hi, Marion. Oh, that's great. I love that.
Hi.
So, you know what's interesting to me, and I'm very aware of this, whether it be Amy Still or you or Kelly Carlin or anyone, they are who they are individually, separate from who their parents are. Yet you can't not be a part of that whole tapestry, of course. But you know what's interesting to me? You said something just cracked me up. Like, I am the daughter of a New York City retired, you know, sanitation worker. And I've had people say absurd things to me, Marion, like absurd, like, wow, but you're so smart. I'm like, what? Like, what? I'm supposed to be stupid because my father was like, what is your preconceived notion of who I am because my father was a working class guy? Like, what? Do you not think he was doing that so his kids could go to college? You know, I'm the first to go. Like, do you not think he was hauling trash so his kids could have a better life? Like, that takes smarts to do that for kids. And back in the day when he, you know, back in the day, South Bronx, didn't finish high school, you had a choice to sign up for a union job, cop, police, fireman. He got called up first for the cops. 6'1" guy, 210 pounds, declined, rejected because he didn't have 20/20 vision in one eye. Today, he's a blind dwarf. It doesn't matter. Are you allowed to say dwarf? You know what I'm saying, a blind little person. So I've always been taken aback when people make preconceived notions about me because of that. But I remember somebody said to you, we were at a gig, who knows, one of our many hell gigs.
Yeah.
And somebody said, you know, you must have a leg up because you're Charles Grodin's daughter. I went to pieces. You're like, yeah. That's why I'm here. Like, I'm doing comedy, like in a laundromat, sports bar. Yeah. Totally leg up.
So what that story was our good friends, Danny Cohen and Jody Wasserman, who we love,
Yes.
had a show at a place called The Laundromat. And I thought this was probably a cool, like, alternative space downtown called The Laundromat that I wanted to come do a set. And I thought, well, that sounds really cool, The Laundromat. And so I get there, and it is, in fact, a laundromat. I was shocked. People are doing their clothes. They're separating their whites from their darks. And I'm waiting to go on. There's actually a line. This is how bad the business is before quarantine. There's a line of people waiting to appear in front of a dryer. And I said to this woman who said, you must have a leg up. I said, not really. I'm waiting to go on in front of a dryer. That's where that story came from. But another thing is, I thought that I didn't want any special treatment when I started, which is hilarious because nobody
as if you were going to get it. As if you, as if you were going to get it.
Nobody gives a fuck about anybody. So I remember I thought, I don't want special treatment, my name, the cachet of my name. And I was being brought up one night at Stand Up New York, and the MC said, coming to the stage, Marion Grodin. And I thought, not only am I not getting special treatment, they don't even know what my name is. Exactly. And then another time someone came up to me and said, oh my God, I just found out who your father is. I'm such a fan. And I was kind of like, okay, thanks. And they go, Josh Groban. I said, you think the singer Josh Groban is my father? He's like younger than me. So
oh my God.
I don't have to worry about special treatment. And now with this situation, I don't have to worry about any treatment.
People don't get it no matter who you are in this business. It's insane.
But I think the lesson there is just, if you have preconceived notions, you're wrong. You've got to let people show you who they are. You can't assume anything.
What was your what were some of the things that you loved that you did in comedy? Like, what have been some of your standout gigs that you went like, man, that was freaking awesome?
Well, I opened for Linda Ronstadt at the Beacon. That was unbelievable.
Tell me about that, because that sounds amazing.
It was amazing. And, it was down the street from where I grew up. I grew up on the Museum of Natural History block on 77th between Columbus and Central Park West.
Nice.
And I got this gig to open for her 2 nights. And after the first night, she said to me, she watched my set, and she said, you're really funny. I want to give you more time out there. And I said, so what, are you going to cut a song? And she goes, I might cut a song. And I said, you're not going to sing Blue Bayou? I said, you got to sing Blue Bayou. So that was very, that was like a huge, huge compliment.
Did you watch her documentary? Did you see the documentary?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's fantastic.
I'm sure it's awesome. What's it called?
I don't know, something about Linda Ronstadt. I don't know. I watched it. She is amazingly deep and
we talked a lot, and she has these 2 kids, and of course now is it Parkinson's or MS?
I think it's Parkinson's.
I think it's Parkinson's too. But another time that was amazing was I got a call sort of late at night from Louis Black's manager. They were going to fly me down to his alma mater, which I think was North Carolina, to appear and open for him in a theater with all the guys from The Daily Show. So that was pretty amazing. I mean, look, I realize in this weird situation we're in, how much stand-up comedy takes care of me, and how much I love it, and how sort of therapeutic it is for me. And also because I talk to the audience a lot, that's my style. It's almost familial. It's almost tribal. Yeah. And I miss that tremendously. So, yes, those big events are amazing, but the truth of the matter is it's all amazing.
It's all amazing. And, that's the thing too, I'm thinking about it, Marion, not being able to perform right now. And I doing stand up on the Zoom, I'm not digging that. That's just not my bag. Unless somebody's like, hey, Marion, here's a chunk of dough, do it. Sure. Where's a wall? Where's a fake mic? I'm on. But,
right.
You know what I realized too? Like, we spent years, you and I, going down to the Duplex. It's a little joint in the Village. I'm right next to Stonewall. It's where Joan Rivers worked her stuff out upstairs.
Christopher Street and 7th Avenue South.
Yeah, Christopher Street, 7th Avenue South. There was an open mic there every single Wednesday. It's still there. And we would all go work out our stuff, newbies, at 7 o'clock, suddenly stand up at this bar.
Run by the wonderful Poppy Kramer.
We love you, Poppy.
Who is no longer with us. Yep.
Yeah, she was a winner on The Biggest Loser, and she's always been the biggest winner to us. And we love her so much. She's so insane and crazy and fun, and now she's gone to God, sadly.
Just an amazing force of nature.
And she brought so many of us together. But
she did. She was very loving. She would MC the show from behind the bar while she was serving drinks. It was awesome.
And then she'd come up and give me my little swig of beer and my half a glass of wine. There's something wrong with you. I don't know why you like these two together. Here you go. There's something wrong with you. And then she'd scurry off. She reminded me of the gal in Hairspray, you know, like that kind of energy.
Yes.
But this is the kind of things that we did, and you're down there and you're just a newbie, and then you continue to go because it becomes like a home, and you get your 5 to 10 minutes to work on new stuff. And then sometimes you leave back in the day, kind of those kind of gigs going, oh, I want to make money. I want bigger gigs. And then you realize how important they were to becoming a family.
Oh my God. Those were some of the best days of my life with you and Jessica Kierson and Danny Cohen and Jodie Wasserman and Karen Bergreen and Bernadette Pauly and Erin Foley. Those were amazing times.
Right.
And we would go across the street to Rafaela's, which was open, I think all night. And, you know, you would talk about a new bit that you tried while binging, you know, you get another piece of cake, and it was all very exciting.
Very exciting. I know it. I miss it. I miss it. But that's the thing now, that you realize that going out even to the hell gigs is part of this life in this world.
Yeah, and I miss that. I mean, what I wouldn't give to work, not to say this is a hell gig, but like just to work a hall, what are they called, VFW, anything.
We did one in Jersey together not that long ago, before the virus.
So, yeah, any of those things, because you realize that it's a gift. And as is so common in life, not until something's gone do you really realize the full value of it.
Well, just want to let some people know, join the Hanging with Langan group page. Tell your friends, start watch parties, share Hanging with Langan. And if you want to support the show down there, PayPal or Venmo, I appreciate the support. I would love if you would just stay with me. We're going to take it off Facebook now, you guys, because Marion's going to talk about sex during quarantine. And it's not that we can't talk about—
Very short.
It's not that we can't talk about sex during quarantine on the Facebook, the .com. But what we want to do is, I'm starting this backstage VIP pass room, which it's not up and running yet, but it will be, where you get to hear these extra tidbits, these titillating details from my guests, separate from this, because that's what I'm going to do, because we got to make a living, because this is the new now, because Broadway isn't opening at least now till Labor Day. Did you hear that today? Today, announced in New York, maybe not until Labor Day.
What about comedy clubs? What do you think?
Oh, it'll be a year. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if Broadway isn't considering—
Roy Wood Jr. wrote an article in New York Magazine about the end of stand-up comedy. It was extremely illuminating and very depressing.
Who wrote it?
Roy Wood Jr., who's a correspondent on The Daily Show and a great comic.
It's scary because stand-up needs to be in tight quarters. You can't have rooms. We go in there to a gig as comics and we see tables too far apart. We start moving them together because you know how you need that collective, intense energy. But Marion Grodin, we're going to move this off, and then I'm going to, you can follow me on Hanging with Langan on Facebook. I'm going to also post these on YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of outlets for them. But these after chats, which will be short and sweet, they're going to be put on some kind of paid platform, because let's face it, you got to make a freaking living in this business, folks. All right, you guys, how can they follow you, Marion?
Oh, I'm on Facebook, Marion Grodin on Facebook.
All right, you guys. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. I have Brian Baltazar. Brian worked on The View. He was an executive producer at HGTV. He just started his own production company. And I think it'll be really cool at a time during this virus, a man is starting his own production company, doing new TV shows. He loves the comedy world. I love to be a fly on the wall of these kind of success stories and see what they're going to be creating moving forward. And he's just a gem. So we're going to have him. I also next week, Kelly Carlin will be joining me, keeping her father, George Carlin's legacy, alive, and just a fantastic woman, such depth and insight. And we have Lori Kilmartin. She is a writer for
She's amazing. Lori's great.
Another one that we made the rounds with at the clubs, right? Man, she fought her ass off to get these gigs, and she worked methodically and professionally and helps other. I love her. All right, you guys.
Awesome.
So Marion Grodin on Facebook, she's going to hang with me now, and you'll get to see more of that exclusive at some point. I'll tell you about it. And tomorrow I launch the Hanging with Langan store. I'm a shopkeeper. Okay. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
So Marion, let's talk sex during quarantine.
Yeah, no, there is none. There's none. There's, you know, the thing that's really, I mean, I was thinking about it, like, even if you tried to do a booty call, can I speak graphically and truthfully?
Totally, that's what it's for.
They've now found the virus in semen. So, I mean, yeah, they have human semen. So, I mean, I just think that it's already difficult enough. And then you hear that, and it's very discouraging. And do people need to include in their profile, I have the Roni in my semen? I don't have the Roni in my, like, I don't understand. It's so crazy to me. Like, how are you going to have, okay, so if you're having sex, you would have gloves and a mask on, which is the way I usually have sex. But now the semen thing is very tricky. So I just think that it's hard enough to try to date and be on dating profiles, but now there's Roni in the semen.
Roni in the semen. So insane. How, I mean, people are like saying that when we start working again, which again, who the hell know when
That's
gonna
what
be.
I wonder about. I mean, I know we were going to talk about the sex stuff, but what really is on my mind is what the hell is the landscape going to be like for live stand-up performers?
And also too, any comic, most comics, I have to be up there creating. So I have my bits that work, but I have to be riffing in and out of it to
very
create the
alive thing. Yep.
I can
No, I
write.
agree. I miss it horribly.
Yeah, you can sit there and write, and I do. Whenever I have a joke or a thought that comes to my head, I write it down. But the way I bring it alive is I got to get on that stage and I got to riff into it. Some people are perfect joke writers. Here's the setup, here's the punch. I get the setup and the punch, and I got to throw all this out of into it because it's the emotion.
Yeah.
It's the emotion that makes it funny.
I do so much improv, as you know, that without my partner in crime, which is the audience, it's just not there. I mean, like you said, I get an idea, I can write it down, but it's not the same as getting up in front of a live audience and having them feed you and you feed them and the back and forth.
Exactly. I know. And people are also saying too, oh, can you make fun of the virus? Everybody's going to be doing it. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can totally, you're not making fun of dead people. You're not making fun of sick elderly people or children. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, that's where you and I differ.
Well, you like the dead stuff. Go, go. I can't, I don't like I like happy endings, Marion. But
yeah, I know.
You know, it's also our lives. So it impacts it. But, you know, I was thinking like, this is what I'll work into a bit because it's all based on truth. Like when they first, in the virus shut down, and this is the kind of stuff I have to emotionally get behind. I used to be married. So when they shut down all the fans going to sports and they closed down the golf courses, I said, well, had they closed them sooner, my marriage might have lasted. And now, so that's a good setup punch, but it, you know, I got to get the, like, they got to know who I am and why the marriage was.
You got to get the guts of the joke.
Yeah. And then I say now, they've opened them up again. And all I wonder is if I'm still the beneficiary. You see, so those are the thoughts, and they're funny thoughts, but they're not killer yet. And you can only do that on the stage.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just a huge missing piece.
So what would you joke about if you were back on the stage right now?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't really been thinking stand up. I've just been trying to get through the days to the best of my ability. And I don't know, stand up, you know, when my first gig canceled, I was like, oh my God, there went that amount of money. And I thought it was like a one-off. Yeah. And then to sort of get your head around, oh, there's no work. Yeah, it's not this one gig, you know, it's all your gigs is just a, you know, it's a big plunge psychologically. So my head hasn't really been in stand-up. I mostly do what takes care of me in this time, truthfully, which is that I walk a lot. I need to like get out and be in nature. Yeah. And, you know, I do Zoom conferences with people, friends, and I watch a lot of murder. And between that and the cheeseburgers, I'm all right.
You're all right. You're all right. Well, listen, I love you, and it's so good to see you, my buddy. And just stay healthy. We will be side by side at some crazy gig again.
I sure hope so.
And we're going to be saying, I wish we were fucking home.
I don't think so. I think once this is over, we're going to just be thrilled to be at a shitty gig.
You're right. I love you.
I love you too. Thanks, Mo.
Thank you for doing this, Mare.
Love you, honey.
Nightmare.
Nightmare. Bye, honey.
Bye, honey.